I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time.
I just wanted to go ahead and give y'all a little heads up. Makes me feel a whole lot better now that I actually know what's going on in the bottom measurements, and they're actually what my math. I've got wires everywhere, tools here and there that didn't help you. And about 13 minutes now, so I'm gonna go ahead and tame until I get the sealed side figured out. Where the sweet. Oh, my head hurts so bad. Oh. Man, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. But let's get started today. We'll get started by sending out a reminder to always make sure you pull exact measurements. Let's start out with that today. But yeah, as you probably seen in the last video, where I was a little frustrated. Not gonna lie, I was not happy, and there's good reason for it. I was trying to get where I needed to be, at least where I thought I was heading, and through the math that I had and all that, I was not coming up where it was giving me, or it wasn't coming up to what it was giving me, should I say. So I mean, we was well, I say we because I consult with a lot of teammates, and they help me out a lot. So this one's going out to all of y'all guys. I really do appreciate it. There's one of y'all right there. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't do it without y'all. I mean, everybody needs to understand that sometimes you can't do everything by yourself. And the numbers I was giving my teammates to be able to help me out, which off of those numbers I was giving them, they were giving me solid advice. Absolutely perfect advice to be able to get what I needed to get and to head in the right direction. Well, in light of things, as you've seen in the previous video, or the video before the last one, I had shrunk the sealed side. Well, when doing that, I went from the little over 5 cubes down to 4. Yeah, I shrunk 2 cubes, so I was like at 6 point something cubes on the bottom, and I ended up bringing it all the way down to like 4 point something on there. But I mean, if you look back in the videos, you'll see what I ended up getting, and which is where I thought I was needing to adjust. Now that I know a little bit more, which I should have done this a long time ago, like I said in the beginning, and actually sat down, pulled the parameters, and got all of my specs like I should have. I was being lazy. The bottom sealed side was super easy. It was a rectangle. You just plug in a couple numbers and bam, you got your cubic foot. But with this top side has several different angles and planes as far as surface area goes. So here, I'll just go ahead and show you that I went ahead and sat down with a piece of graph paper and actually put everything out so that way I can measure everything. And you see, I broke it down into several different categories, a couple rectangles, and then triangles. Well, in doing so, I pulled up each one of my volumes for the area volume for each one of those sections. And as you see in the front, it goes up 4 inches and then shoots up at an angle. As the top comes down at an angle towards the back. And then at the back, I've got this little spot here, which but whenever I was being lazy, instead of measuring this section here and measuring this section up here, what I did was I went from here straight up and then from here to there, which doing so, I lost all this volume here and that volume there, which, as you see, I'm at a gross of 14.38. After displacement of just the subs, I'm at 13.4. Well, I, being lazy, was rough guessing it around 7 cubes. Well, 7 cubes and 14 cubes is a huge difference. Huge. 2 times the volume, just to be exact. But I was basing off that number there, or the 7 cubes. And with what I was coming up with, I was barely a 1.5 to 1 ratio with what I had calculated. Well, I'm actually, yeah, I was actually a 2 to 1 in the very beginning, which is where I had planned in my head to be. Is I wanted to be a 2 to 1 ratio for 4th order to be able to get the optimal output. Well, when I shrunk the sealed side, it put me to a 3 to 1. The 3 to 1, yes, get a little bit more out of the one small bandwidth, but you will lose a huge bandwidth. And that's what was happening. I was dealing with where I was able to feel the lows before. Once I shrunk the sealed side, I lost all of that. I completely lost that whole bandwidth. And doing that, I went from a 2 to 1 to almost 3 to possibly a 4 to 1, which I'm not going to figure that out because I don't, that's not where I want to be. So I'm not even going to worry about the math to figure out where I'm at now. But what I am going to do is I am going to just go ahead and leave this port alone for now. And we'll probably do some testing without the port, because I've already got a baseline of what it should be before I filled in some of the sealed side. So if I take this port off, do a couple tests, and get back my baseline of what it's like with the sealed side as it is, then I can work my way backwards. Once I find that sweet spot, then we'll go ahead and get back onto this. But I just figured I just wanted to go ahead and give y'all a little heads up, because this could help y'all out one day. I mean, make sure you get your measurements right. It could be the slightest, and it will throw all your predictions way out. So your results will not be what you thought it should be. Like, with it set up like it is, I should be perfect at a 51 hertz range, 51 hertz tune, and that's pretty much where it's at. Is I'm peaking at 51 with the way this is set up now, which is where I should be, which is where a lot of my teammates has told me that is where my high side should be, or my portage side should be tuned at. That way I can be able to get the optimal bandwidth. So, I mean, it's definitely a learning lesson. Makes me feel a whole lot better now that I actually know what's going on, and now that I've got these measurements and the bottom measurements and they're exact now, I can actually go through and plug everything in, and my results that I have been getting are exactly what my math has been coming out to. So that's where I hiccup at. There I go. I'm not right in the head. Never was. Probably never will be, but who is? But back to where we was going. I'm going to go ahead and get all this cleaned up in the next couple days. I've got wires everywhere, tools here and there, and I put myself in the dumps trying to figure out what in the world was going on. Well, now you know. Well, now we know. So, now that we know that this is what's going on, hopefully we'll start seeing better results and start to see a more enjoyable atmosphere. Because I know that last video was probably a bummer to watch. I didn't even really care to do the editing. Yeah. I mean, just watching myself being that down made me even worse. But yeah, it is what it is. We've learned. Let's grow. Let's brush it off and keep on moving. Let's get going. But if you found this information something that could help you out, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know how it helps you. If it don't help you, hit that thumbs down. At least lets me know that it's something that didn't help you. And I mean, you could help me by telling me what you didn't like about it. So, but yeah, I'm not going to hold y'all up any longer. It's been about 13 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and enjoy the rest of my day now that I understand what's happening. But I sure appreciate y'all checking in on me and giving me some of y'all's advice, which don't think I'm not going to do any of that. I will. I definitely, that's up here in the vault. I'm going to keep that retained until I get the sealed side figured out where the sweet spot is. Once I get that sweet spot, then we'll work on that port, and I'll take up some of y'all's guys' suggestions and see what happens. So stay tuned, hit that subscription button, and keep a lookout. You never know. You might just actually learn something. Or find yourself just a person that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Peace, guys. See y'all later.